Where do we begin and where do we end? We need these points. We need to know what's happening.
How long were you already with your musicians before you actually started?
We started on the day after I arrived, so they had no real idea of 3/4 of what we were going to do, song-wise. They'd heard a couple of demos of a couple of songs. In fact, I think only one of the musicians knew 2 or 3 of the songs we were going to do.
Because what did you send them before?
Just some ideas, you know. And then I sent them a copy of Astral Weeks.
Okay.
And I said that this record was the most important record ever made, you know, this kind of as you do. And being Italian, I don't think they fully understood when they first heard it. It took them a while. I think it took them several. Even now, they're still catching up with what a work that is, Astral Weeks.
Because do you have a lot of faith in them then, that
Yeah.
you give them this space?
Absolutely, yeah.
There was never a moment of insecurity from your side?
Only that, you know, when you're doing something like this, there's never a guarantee, but not from their behalf. They're very accomplished musicians. They're a lot better than I am at playing their instruments.
But is it when you improvise, for example, as it is now on the recording, does do the songs change of the course of time a lot?
As you're recording them, do they change?
Yeah, well, no, not. But when you perform them, maybe afterwards, is it a different song?
Yeah, if you come tonight, things have changed a lot. I mean, what we're doing now is we're reworking songs that were written before this album. So that I play the songs from older albums with them very differently. And there are differences in the songs from the last album as well. Yeah.
What can you maybe tell what has changed then over maybe the course of the previous album until now? What has happened with you and the band or the musicians you work with?
Well, there are 2 new musicians that I work with. I work with a violinist, a gypsy violinist, and then I work now with a saxophone player as well. So that's added something different. I think the major thing that's changed is the fact that we can all play what we've recorded live and feel uninhibited by that sort of element of uncertainty. Whereas before it was, you know, where do we begin, where do we end? We need these points. We need to know what's happening to feel confident in front of people. And now we're less. Of course, there are moments where you need to feel very certain of what you're doing. But within the songs, there's plenty of movement and freedom, I hope.
I think listening to it, you can discover that. I was just wondering, can you recall the moment that maybe you recorded the last note of the process? Because maybe if you work in this open way, you never maybe know that we have to do this and this and this, because it's not pre-planned. Can you recall what was the moment that you thought, we have it now?
I suppose doing the strings, when we put the last of the strings arrangements down, I really felt the strings arranger did a fantastic job. And the last song, the Cathedral, I remember exchanging emails with her as she was writing, and I said the last phrases of the album, the song Cathedral, had to be like a lighthouse light, that the strings had to be seen or heard coming around and then disappearing, then coming around. And when I heard them actually recorded in the track, that moment, it was like, well, I don't think I can go any further than that. It was sort of, it was very reassuring.
You mentioned the string arranger. You co-worked with her. Did she know already ahead what was your plan?
No, we just, my manager contacted her and she responded well, and I sent her the tracks, and I had barely even, I don't think I even explained anything to her musically beforehand. I may have mentioned a couple of albums or ideas, but more in words than notes, nothing musically too specific.